The station was busy that day. Yuna wiped the sweat from her forehead and looked at the long list of cargo boxes she still needed to move. Horizon 9 was one of the largest trading stations in this part of the galaxy. Ships came and went every hour. Aliens of all kinds walked through the metal hallways. Some had 4 legs, some had no legs at all. Some floated in special suits filled with water or gas. Yuna did not mind the work. She was a cargo technician. Her job was simple. Move boxes from point A to point B. Check the labels. Make sure nothing was broken. It was not exciting work, but it paid well, and she got to see aliens every day. That was more than most humans back on Earth could say. She pushed her hover cart down the long corridor toward Docking Bay 7. The wheels made a soft humming sound on the metal floor. Around her, aliens moved in groups. They spoke in languages she did not understand. Some of them looked at her. Humans were still new to this part of space. Only 50 years had passed since first contact. To some species, humans were strange creatures, small, soft, no claws, no scales, no natural weapons. Yuna did not care what they thought. She had a job to do. She turned the corner near the bay entrance and stopped. Something was wrong. The corridor was empty here. The lights were dimmer. This section was under repair, and most beings avoided it. But Yuna heard something. A small sound. Like crying. She left her cart and walked forward slowly. Her boots made soft sounds on the floor. The crying got louder. It was coming from behind a stack of old metal containers. Yuna moved around them carefully. There, in the corner, sat a small creature. It was about the size of a cat from Earth. But it was not a cat. Its fur was deep blue, almost purple. It had large golden eyes that were wet with tears. Its ears were long and pointed, pressed flat against its head. A thin tail wrapped around its small body. It was shaking. Yuna stopped. She knew what this creature was. A Velrathi. The Velrathi were one of the oldest species in the known galaxy. They looked like large cats, but they walked on 2 legs and had hands with long fingers. They were proud, powerful, and very protective of their young. Their cubs were considered sacred, and one of their cubs was sitting alone in a dark corridor, crying. Yuna looked around. There were no adult Velrathi nearby. No one was coming. The cub must have gotten lost. But how? Velrathi parents never let their cubs out of sight. Never. The cub looked up at her with those big golden eyes. It made a small, scared sound. Yuna's heart hurt just looking at it. She did not think about what she was doing. She simply moved. She knelt down slowly, making herself smaller, less scary. She held out her hand, palm up, fingers relaxed. She did not move toward the cub. She just waited. The cub watched her. Its ears moved slightly. Its nose twitched. It sniffed the air, trying to understand this strange creature with no fur and flat face. Yuna smiled gently. She did not say anything. Words might scare the little one. Instead, she just stayed still and let the cub decide. For a long moment, nothing happened. The cub stared at her. She stared at the cub. The station hummed around them. Somewhere far away, a ship's engine roared as it left the docking bay. Then, slowly, the cub moved. It crawled forward on its small hands and feet. It sniffed her fingers. Its whiskers tickled her skin. Yuna did not move. She barely breathed. The cub made a small sound. Not scared this time. Curious. It touched her hand with one tiny paw. Its pads were soft and warm. Then it looked up at her face again. Something changed in its golden eyes. The fear was going away. Before Yuna could react, the cub climbed up her arm. Its small claws gripped her sleeve gently, not breaking the fabric. It moved fast, like it had done this 1,000 times before. In seconds, it was on her shoulder. It pressed its small body against her neck and made a soft, rumbling sound, almost like purring. Yuna froze. A Velrathi cub was sitting on her shoulder. A sacred creature of one of the most powerful species in the galaxy was using her as a seat. She did not know what to do. Very slowly, she stood up. The cub did not move. It stayed on her shoulder, its tail wrapping loosely around her arm for balance. Its purring continued. Soft and steady, Yuna started walking. She needed to find the cub's family. They must be looking for it. They must be worried. She imagined how scared she would be if her child went missing in a huge space station full of strangers. She walked back to the main corridor. Aliens turned to look at her. A Voric trader with gray scales stopped in the middle of the hallway and stared with all four of its eyes. A group of Malori, tall beings with translucent skin, whispered to each other and pointed. Yuna ignored them. She kept walking. The cub stayed on her shoulder. It seemed happy now. It looked around at the station with wide, curious eyes. Sometimes it made small sounds, like it was talking to itself. Yuna found herself humming. It was an old song her mother used to sing. She did not know why she started humming, but it felt right. The cub's ears perked up. It turned its head and looked at her face. Then it made a sound that almost seemed like laughter. They walked together through the station. A human woman, with a Velrothi cub on her shoulder. Every alien they passed stopped to watch. None of them understood what they were seeing, but they would. Soon, the whole galaxy would understand. Yuna did not know it yet. She was just trying to help a lost child. She did not know that this moment would change everything. She did not know that her simple act of kindness would reach the ears of commanders and diplomats across 100 star systems. She just kept walking, humming softly, while the cub purred against her neck. Somewhere in the station, a Velrothi delegation was about to receive news that would shake their understanding of humans forever. But for now, Yuna just wanted to find the cub's parents. Everything else could wait. The cub was warm against Yuna's neck. She could feel its small heart beating fast, but not from fear anymore. It was excited. Every few steps, it would lean forward and make a chirping sound at something it saw. A blinking light, a passing alien, a floating service drone. Yuna walked carefully. She did not want to shake the cub loose. She also did not know where to go. The station was huge. Finding one family among thousands of beings was not easy. She stopped at an information terminal and touched the screen. The screen lit up with text in 12 different languages. She selected Human Standard and typed, Lost Child. Velrothi Cub. Where to report. The terminal hummed for a moment. Then it displayed a map. Station Security Office. Level 4, Section 12. That was on the other side of the station. Yuna sighed. It would take at least 20 minutes to walk there. But she had no choice. She started walking again. The cub on her shoulder shifted and made a small noise. It sounded hungry. Yuna looked at it and smiled sadly. I do not have any food for you, little one, she said softly. But we will find your family soon. They will feed you. The cub tilted its head. It did not understand her words, but it seemed to like her voice. Its golden eyes blinked slowly, and it pressed closer to her neck. Yuna kept walking. The main corridor was busy. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved around her. Some were going to their ships, some were buying goods from the trading stalls, some were just passing through. A Tarkin merchant, a short being with green skin and 6 arms, was selling fruit from a cart. The fruit came in many colors. Red, blue, purple, gold. The smell was sweet and strong. The cub's nose twitched. Yuna stopped. She looked at the fruit, then at the cub. She remembered reading something about Velrothi. They ate meat mostly, but cubs also liked sweet fruits. She reached into her pocket and found a few credits. Not much, but maybe enough. Excuse me, she said to the merchant. How much for one of the purple ones? The Tarkin looked at her with 2 of its 3 eyes. The third eye looked at the cub on her shoulder. All 3 eyes went wide. Is that a Velrothi cub? The merchant asked in broken human standard. Yes, I found it lost. I am taking it to security. The Tarkin stared for a long moment. Then it reached into its cart and pulled out 3 purple fruits. It held them out to Yuna. "Free," it said. Take for the cub." Yuna blinked. "Are you sure?" Yes, very sure. Velrathi are. Important. You help the cub. I help you. Free." Yuna took the fruits and thanked the merchant. She held one up to the cub. The small creature sniffed it, then bit into it with tiny teeth. Juice dripped down its chin. It made a happy sound, and ate more. Yuna smiled and kept walking. But something strange was happening. Aliens were watching her more closely now. Some of them whispered to each other. Some of them moved out of her way, as if she were someone important. A group of Velrathi merchants stood near a shop. They were tall, with sleek silver fur and sharp eyes. When they saw Yuna, they stopped talking. They stared at the cub on her shoulder. Their ears went flat, then slowly rose again. One of them, a female with white markings on her face, stepped forward. "Human," she said. Her voice was deep and smooth. "That cub. Where did you find it?" "Near Docking Bay 7, Yuna said. "It was alone and scared. I am taking it to security." The female Velrathi looked at the cub. The cub looked back and made a small, happy sound. It did not seem afraid of this adult Velrathi. The female's eyes moved back to Yuna. There was something in her gaze. Not anger. Not suspicion. Something else. Something like wonder. "The cub trusts you," she said slowly. "Our cubs do not trust outsiders. Never. It takes years for a cub to accept someone outside its family." "See," Yuna did not know what to say. She shrugged slightly, careful not to disturb the cub. "I just tried to be gentle," she said. "I did not want to scare it." The female Velrathi was silent for a moment. Then she turned to the others and spoke in her own language. Yuna did not understand the words, but she saw their reactions. Surprise. Confusion. Some of them looked at her with new eyes. The female turned back to Yuna. "I will send word to the Elder Council," she said. "They will want to know about this. What is your name, human?" "Yuna." "Yuna." The female repeated the name carefully. "I am Sarah. I am a trader. But I have connections to the council. This cub belongs to an important family. They are looking for it. I am Destander. On her family lug. Lime. I am Sarah Peter." The female repeated the name carefully. Yuna felt relief. "Can you contact them? They must be so worried." Sarah nodded. She pulled out a small device and spoke into it quickly. After a moment, she put it away. "They are coming. They will meet you at the security office." I told them what I saw. A human carrying their cub. A human their cub trusts. Yuna started to thank her, but Sarah held up a hand. "No thanks needed. But I must tell you something, Yuna. What you did today, it is not small. Our cubs are sacred to us. They are our future. We protect them with our lives. For a cub to trust an outsider, especially a species we barely know." She shook her head slowly. "It has never happened before. Not in all our history." Yuna felt uncomfortable with all this attention. She was just a cargo technician. She moved boxes for a living. She was not special. "I just wanted to help," she said. Sarah smiled. It was a strange smile on a face that looked like a cat, but it was warm. "Yes, and that is what makes it important." Yuna thanked her and continued walking. The cub had finished its fruit and was now cleaning its small paws with its tongue. It looked happy and content. Other aliens moved aside as Yuna passed. They bowed their heads slightly. Some of them pressed their hands together in gestures of respect. Yuna did not understand why they were doing this. She did not know that word was already spreading through the station. A human had befriended a Velrathi cub. A human had earned the trust of a sacred child in minutes. Something that usually took years. The news moved faster than she walked. By the time she reached the security office, a small crowd had gathered outside. Aliens of many species stood watching. They were quiet. but their eyes followed her every step. Yuna took a deep breath and walked inside. The office was clean and bright. A security officer, a large being with blue skin and 4 arms, sat behind a desk. When he saw her and the cub, he stood up quickly. "You are the human," he said. "The one with the cub. The family is already here. They are waiting in the back room." Yuna nodded. Her heart was beating fast now. She was about to meet the cub's family. She hoped they would not be angry with her. The officer led her to a door at the back of the office. He opened it and stepped aside. Yuna walked in. The room was large, and standing inside were 5 Velrathi, 4 adults and 1 elder. The elder had pure white fur and eyes that seemed to glow with wisdom. The adults wore fine clothing, decorated with symbols Yuna did not recognize. They were looking at her, and the cub on her shoulder began to purr louder than ever. The room was silent. Yuna could hear her own heartbeat in her ears. The 5 Velrathi stood before her like statues. Their golden eyes were fixed on her face, then on the cub on her shoulder. The elder Velrathi was the first to speak. Her voice was soft but strong, like wind moving through tall grass. "The child," she said. "Baram. He is well?" Yuna nodded. "He was scared when I found him, but he is calm now. I think he is happy." The cub, Baram, made a small sound. He was still purring. His tail swayed gently behind Yuna's back. He did not seem to want to leave her shoulder. One of the adult Velrathi, a male with dark gray fur, stepped forward. His face was hard to read, but his ears were pressed back slightly. Worry, perhaps. Or confusion. "Baram," he said. His voice was deep. "Come to me. Come to your father." The cub looked at him. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Baram made a small sound and pressed closer to Yuna's neck. He did not move toward his father. The male Velrathi stopped. His eyes widened. The other adults exchanged glances. Yuna felt very uncomfortable. "I am sorry," she said quickly. "I did not do anything to make him stay. He just climbed onto me when I found him. I was only trying to help." The elder raised one hand slowly. It was a calming gesture. "We are not angry, young human. We are surprised." She stepped closer to Yuna. Her movements were slow and graceful. Up close, Yuna could see the years of wisdom in her eyes. This was a being who had lived for a very long time. "I am called grandmother by my people," the elder said. "I have watched over our cubs for more than 200 of your years. I have seen many things, but I have never seen a cub trust an outsider so quickly. Not once." Yuna did not know what to say. She looked at Baram. The little cub was watching her face with his big golden eyes. He seemed content. "Safe. Our cubs are special," grandmother continued. "They are born with an ability to sense feelings, fear, anger, love, danger. They feel what others feel. That is why they are so careful with strangers. They can sense any bad intent." She paused and looked at Baram. The cub chirped at her and rubbed his head against Yuna's jaw. "But this child sensed nothing bad in you. Only warmth, only kindness, only safety." Grandmother's voice dropped to almost a whisper. "Do you understand what that means?" Yuna shook her head slowly. "It means your heart is pure, young human. It means you have no hidden darkness, no cruelty, no selfishness. Our cubs never lie. They cannot be tricked. If Baram trusts you, then you are worthy of trust." The male Velrathi, Baram's father, approached again. This time, his ears were forward. His expression had softened. "I am called Duran," he said. "Baram is my son. When we discovered he was missing, I thought my heart would stop. I searched everywhere. I feared the worst." He looked at Yuna with eyes that were suddenly wet. "But you found him. You kept him safe. You earned his trust." "I did not do anything special," Yuna said. I saw a scared child. I wanted to help." Doran shook his head. "That is exactly what is special. Many would have walked away. Many would have been afraid to touch a Velrathi cub. The punishment for harming one of our young is severe. Most aliens know this. They avoid our children out of fear, not respect. But you did not walk away, grandmother said. You did not avoid him. You sat down. You offered your hand. You waited for him to choose. Yuna remembered that moment. Kneeling in the dim corridor, holding out her hand, waiting. I did not want to scare him more than he already was, she said simply. Grandmother smiled. On a Velrathi face, the smile showed many sharp teeth, but it was not frightening. It was beautiful. That is wisdom, she said. True wisdom. Not from books. Not from training. From the heart. One of the female Velrathi, who had been silent until now, stepped forward. She had copper-colored fur and wore a golden band around her arm. I am Hana, she said. I am the cub's aunt. And I am also a diplomat for our people. I came to this station for trade meetings. But what happened today, it is more important than any trade. She looked at the others, then back at Yuna. Word has already spread through the station. A human woman carrying a Velrathi cub on her shoulder. A human who earned a sacred child's trust in moments. By tonight, this news will reach the homeworld. By tomorrow, every council in our civilization will know your name. Yuna felt her face grow hot. But I did not do anything. I just helped a lost child. Anyone would do the same. No, Hana said firmly, anyone would not. We have been among the stars for 10,000 years. We have met hundreds of species, and in all that time, no outsider has ever earned a cub's trust so quickly. Not one. Grandmother nodded slowly. Our cubs are our future. They are the most precious things in our world. We teach them to be careful, to sense danger, to protect themselves. For Bahram to climb onto your shoulder and purr, he was saying something. He was saying, this is safe. This is good. This is home. Yuna felt tears forming in her eyes. She did not know why. Maybe it was the warmth in their words. Maybe it was the way Bahram was still pressed against her neck. Still purring softly, Doran reached out his hand. It was a gesture of respect among Velrathi. She had learned. She took his hand carefully. His fingers were long and warm. Thank you, he said. Thank you for protecting my son. Yuna nodded. She did not trust her voice. Slowly, gently, Bahram began to move. He crawled from Yuna's shoulder to Doran's arm. The father held his son close and closed his eyes. For a moment, he just stood there, holding the cub. Yuna felt a strange sadness. She had only known the little cub for an hour, but she would miss him. Bahram looked back at her. He made a small, questioning sound. Then he reached one tiny paw toward her. Grandmother laughed softly. He does not want to say goodbye. Yuna moved closer and touched the cub's paw with her finger. I am glad you are safe now, little one. Bahram chirped at her. His golden eyes were bright and happy. Grandmother stepped beside Yuna. Her voice was quiet but serious. You must understand what happens now. Our people will learn of this. They will want to know more about humans. For a long time, we have been distant from your kind. Curious, yes, but distant. We did not know if we could trust you. She paused. Now, we have an answer. Not from politicians, not from treaties, from a child. From a cub who felt your heart and found it good. Hana nodded in agreement. You may not realize it, young human, but you have done more for the relationship between our peoples than any diplomat ever could. Yuna looked at them all. The father holding his son. The grandmother with her wise eyes. The diplomat with her golden band. She was just a cargo technician. She moved boxes. She checked labels. But today, without meaning to, she had changed something. She had built a bridge between two worlds. And this was only the beginning. 3 days passed. Yuna tried to return to her normal life. She woke up in her small room. She ate breakfast alone. She went to work and moved boxes from one place to another. But nothing was the same. Everyone knew her name now. When she walked through the corridors, Aliens stopped and looked at her. Some of them bowed their heads slightly. Others pressed their hands together in signs of respect. A few even stepped aside to let her pass, as if she were someone important. Yuna did not like it. She was not important. She was just a cargo technician. She had only been doing her job, moving through the station, when she found a lost cub. That was all, but to everyone else, it was much more. On the second day, a message arrived on her personal screen. It was from the station commander, a tall being named Junho who had served for 30 years. He wanted to meet her. Yuna thought about ignoring the message, but that seemed rude, so she went. The commander's office was large and bright. Screens covered the walls, showing different parts of the station. Junho sat behind a wide desk. He was human, like her, with gray hair and kind eyes. "Please, sit down," he said, pointing to a chair. Yuna sat. She felt nervous, like a student called to see the principal. Junho smiled at her. "You look worried. Do not be. You are not in trouble." "Then why am I here, sir?" He leaned back in his chair. "Because you have done something remarkable, and I wanted to thank you personally." Yuna shook her head. "I only helped a lost child. I did not do anything special." That is where you are wrong." Junho turned one of his screens toward her. It showed a map of the galaxy with many colored dots. "Do you know what these are?" "No, sir. These are communication signals, messages between planets, stations, and ships. In the last 2 days, messages about you have reached every corner of Velrothi space. And not just Velrothi space. Word is spreading to other civilizations too." Yuna stared at the map. There were so many dots. So many messages. "Why?" she asked. "Why do they care about me?" Junho's expression became serious. "Because humans are new to this galaxy. We have been among the stars for only 50 years. To most species, we are strangers. Unknown. Maybe dangerous. Many of them watch us carefully, waiting to see what kind of people we are." He pointed to the screen again. "And now, they have seen something. They have seen a human woman find a lost Velrothi cub and treat it with kindness. They have seen one of the most ancient and powerful species in the galaxy thank a human publicly. They have seen a sacred child choose to trust you, a total stranger, within minutes." He paused. "Do you understand? For 50 years, humans have been trying to prove ourselves, trying to show that we are not dangerous, not cruel, not selfish. And in one afternoon, you proved more than all our diplomats combined." Yuna did not know what to say. She looked at her hands. They were rough from years of hard work. Hands that moved boxes. Hands that held a small, scared cub. "I did not mean to prove anything," she said quietly. "I just saw a child who needed help." Junho nodded slowly. "And that is exactly the point. You did not think about politics or diplomacy, or how others would see you. You just acted from your heart. That is what makes it real. That is what makes it powerful." He stood up and walked to the window. Outside, ships moved slowly through the docking bays. The stars shone cold and distant. "I have been on this station for a long time," he said. "I have seen many things. But I have never seen a single act of kindness change so much. In the past 2 days, 3 different species have requested human mediators for their disputes. 2 trade guilds have asked for human advisors. And the Velrothi." He turned to look at her. "The Velrothi have sent a formal request to open new diplomatic channels with humanity. They want to build a stronger relationship with us. Because of you." Yuna felt dizzy. This was too much. She was just a cargo technician. "What do they want from me?" she asked. Junho smiled gently. "Nothing, for now. The Velrothi understand that you did not seek this attention. They are respectful of that. But many people on this station, and beyond, see you differently now. You are a symbol, whether you want to be or not." He walked back to his desk and sat down. "I am not ordering you to do anything. You can continue your work as before if you wish." But I wanted you to know the truth. I wanted you to understand what you have done." Yuna nodded slowly. She thanked the commander and left his office. Her head was spinning. That evening, she sat in her small room and looked out the window. The stars seemed the same as always. Cold, distant, beautiful. But everything else had changed. Over the next few days, strange things happened. A group of Malori diplomats asked if they could meet her. She said yes, not knowing what else to do. They came to her room, tall and graceful, with their translucent skin glowing softly. They thanked her for showing kindness to the Velrathi cub. They said it gave them hope that humans were good people. A Tarkin merchant, the same one who had given her the fruit, sent her a gift. A small crystal that glowed with soft light. "A token of respect," his note said. An elder from a species she did not recognize stopped her in the corridor and spoke for 10 minutes about how important it was to protect children. He seemed very moved by what she had done. Yuna listened to all of them. She thanked them politely. But inside, she felt strange. She was not used to this attention. She was not used to being seen. Then, on the 5th day, something unexpected happened. She was moving boxes near Docking Bay 3 when a Velrathi ship arrived. It was large and beautiful, with silver curves and golden lights. A crowd gathered to watch it land. The doors opened, and a group of Velrathi stepped out. They wore formal clothing, decorated with many symbols. They looked important. At the front of the group was Grandmother, the elder she had met before, and beside her, in his father's arms, was Baram. The cub saw Yuna and made a loud, excited sound. He struggled in his father's grip until Doran put him down. Then he ran across the docking bay floor, his small legs moving fast. Yuna knelt down without thinking. Baram jumped into her arms and pressed his face against her neck, purring loudly. The crowd went silent. Grandmother walked toward her slowly. Her eyes were warm and bright. "We have come to honor you," she said. "The councils have decided. You will be named Friend of the Velrathi. It is a title given only to those who have truly earned our trust. In 10,000 years, fewer than 20 outsiders have received it." Yuna held Baram close. She did not know what to say. "Thank you," she whispered. Grandmother smiled her sharp-toothed smile. "No, thank you. For showing us what humans really are." Months passed. The galaxy kept turning. Ships came and went from Horizon 9, carrying cargo, passengers, and news from distant worlds. And Yuna kept working. She still moved boxes. She still checked labels. She still wore her old work clothes and ate simple meals in her small room. The title of Friend of the Velrathi did not change who she was inside, but the galaxy had changed around her. Humans were treated differently now. On stations throughout known space, people looked at them with new eyes, not with fear or suspicion, but with curiosity and respect. The story of the human woman and the Velrathi cub had spread far and wide. It had been told and retold in 100 languages on 1,000 worlds. Some versions of the story were not quite accurate. Some said she had fought off attackers to save the cub. Others said she had special powers that let her calm any creature. A few even claimed she was a secret diplomat sent by Earth's government. Yuna heard these stories and laughed. She was none of those things. She was just herself. But the truth, the real truth, was more powerful than any exaggeration. The truth was simple. A human had seen a scared child and had helped. Without thinking about danger, without asking for reward, without caring what species the child was, she had just acted from her heart. And that simple truth touched something deep in many species across the galaxy. On a water world far from Horizon 9, an elder of the Nari people taught young swimmers about humans. "They are small and soft," she said, "but they have great hearts. They protect the young of others as if they were their own." On a forest moon where the Vrakan lived among the great trees, hunters spoke of the human woman with wonder. She did not fear the Velrathi, they said. She did not run. She showed kindness when kindness was needed most. On the desert planet of the Sorathi, scholars studied the story and wrote long papers about its meaning. Perhaps, One wrote, "We have judged humans too quickly. Perhaps there is more to them than we thought." And on the Velrathi homeworld, in the great halls where the councils met, grandmother stood before the elders and spoke. "I was there," she said. "I saw her with my own eyes. She was not remarkable to look at. Not tall or strong or beautiful by any measure. She was ordinary. A worker. A mover of boxes. But when the moment came, she did what was right, without hesitation, without fear." The elders listened in silence. "For 10,000 years, we have been careful with outsiders," grandmother continued. "We have watched them closely, waiting for them to fail, waiting for them to show their true nature. Most species, given time, reveal their flaws, their greed, their cruelty, their selfishness." She paused and looked around the great hall. "But these humans, they are different. Not because they are perfect. They have flaws like everyone else. But when it matters most, when a child is scared and alone, they do not turn away. They help." The councils voted that day. They voted to strengthen ties with humanity. They voted to invite human ambassadors to the homeworld for the first time in history. They voted to share knowledge and trade and friendship, all because of one woman and one lost cub. Back on Horizon 9, Yuna knew nothing of these grand decisions. She was busy loading cargo onto a ship bound for the outer colonies. Her back hurt. Her hands were sore. It was a normal day. Then she felt a familiar weight on her shoulder. She turned her head and found herself looking into big golden eyes. Bahram had grown a little since she last saw him. His fur was thicker now, deeper blue. But his eyes were the same, bright and curious and full of warmth. "Hello, little one," she said softly. Bahram chirped and rubbed his head against her jaw. Behind her, she heard footsteps. She turned and saw Doran, the cub's father, approaching with a smile. "He has been asking about you for weeks," Doran said. "Every time he sees a human, he gets excited. But no one is you." Yuna scratched behind Bahram's ear. The cub purred loudly. "Why are you here?" she asked. "We are passing through on our way to a council meeting." But Bahram insisted we stop. He wanted to see his friend. Yuna smiled. Friend? It was strange to think of it that way. A Velrathi cub. A sacred child of one of the oldest species in the galaxy. Considered her a friend. "I am glad you came," she said. Doran watched her for a moment. His golden eyes were thoughtful. "You have not changed," he said. "All this attention, all this fame, and you are still the same person. Still moving boxes. Still working." Yuna shrugged. "It is who I am." "Yes." Doran nodded slowly. "That is what makes you special. You do not seek greatness. You do not crave power or glory. You simply do what is right and return to your life." He stepped closer. "In our oldest stories, there are tales of beings called the Pure Ones. They were said to have hearts without shadows. No hidden darkness. No secret cruelty. They helped others simply because it was right." He looked at her with something like wonder. "We thought those stories were just myths. But when I see you with my son, when I see how he trusts you completely, I wonder. Perhaps the Pure Ones were real. Perhaps some of them looked like you." Yuna felt her face grow warm. She did not know how to respond to such words. Bahram saved her by making a loud noise and pulling at her collar. "He wanted attention." Doran laughed. "He is very demanding." "I apologize." "No," Yuna said, smiling. "I like it." They spent an hour together. Yuna played with Bahram while Doran watched. Other aliens passed by and stopped to look. Some of them took pictures with their devices. The human woman and the Velrathi cub, a symbol of hope and friendship. When it was time to leave, Bahram did not want to go. He clung to Yuna's shoulder and made sad sounds. Yuna's heart ached. "I will see you again," she promised. Bahram looked at her with his big eyes. Then, slowly, he climbed onto his father's shoulder. He kept watching Yuna as they walked toward their ship. Yuna waved until they disappeared through the docking bay doors. Then she took a deep breath and went back to work. She was still a cargo technician. She still moved boxes for a living. Nothing about her daily routine had changed. But everything else was different. Across the galaxy, species that had feared or ignored humans were now watching with new eyes. They saw a small, soft species without claws or scales or natural weapons. But they also saw something else. Something powerful. They saw kindness. They saw compassion. They saw the willingness to protect the vulnerable, even at risk to oneself. That was humanity's gift to the stars. Not technology, not weapons, not conquest. Just simple, ordinary kindness. And it was more than enough. Yuna finished her shift and went home to her small room. She looked out the window at the stars and smiled. Somewhere out there, a little cub was thinking of her. And somewhere else, councils were making decisions that would change the future, all because she had stopped to help a lost child. The galaxy was vast and cold and strange, but it was also full of possibilities, and Yuna, the cargo technician from Earth, had opened a door that could never be closed.